700 people are killed and another 800 injured during the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. Pope Francis is making history. He's the first ever pontiff to address a joint session of the U.S. Congress. Batter up, Jays fans! If you want to be in the crowd at the Rogers Center for October baseball, Jays playoff tickets are on sale now. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Alex Martino, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. More than 700 people have been killed in a stampede during the annual Hajj pilgrimage near the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. The stampede happened in Mina, a few kilometers from the holy site of Mecca. The tragedy struck during a symbolic stoning of the devil ritual. This is not the first time that disaster has occurred here. In 1990, almost 1,500 pilgrims were killed in a stampede, and in 2006, almost 400 people died in the stone-throwing ritual. Authorities say more than 800 people were injured in today's stampede. Those numbers are expected to rise. The European Union is offering €1 billion to aid the ongoing Syrian refugee crisis. EU leaders met in Brussels earlier today for an emergency summit. The meeting ended with leaders pledging funds to Syria's neighbors and the United Nations. The money will go toward helping countries who carry the largest load of refugees, as well as organizations on the front lines of the crisis. Meanwhile, Croatia is cracking down on refugees entering Europe.
Bus with Serbian or bus with Serbian registration, he will not enter in Croatia.
All but one border crossing between Serbia and Croatia has been blocked off. Conflicts have flared between the two countries over the crisis. Croatian cargo is not being allowed into Serbia, and in retaliation, Croatia is keeping out all Serbian vehicles. That leaves the refugees stuck in a no-man's land between the two countries. Over on this side of the Atlantic, Pope Francis made history this morning, becoming the first pontiff to address a joint meeting of the U.S. Congress.
Mr. Speaker, the Pope of the Holy See.
The Pope spoke about abortion, gay marriage, and the Syrian refugee crisis. He told Congress that Americans should show compassion to all immigrants, saying they shouldn't turn their backs on their neighbors. He also made some controversial remarks about same-sex marriage, saying he's concerned about threats to the family and fundamental relationships. The Pope heads to New York tonight and returns home on Sunday. Charleston, South Carolina has honored the victims of June's shooting massacre by dedicating the street in front of the church where they were killed. Charleston City Council unanimously approved the request to change the street name to Mother Emanuel Way Memorial District. Dozens gathered in front of the Charleston Church to honor the 9 victims who were shot and killed during a Bible study on June 17th. Dylan Roof has been charged with murder for the slayings, and state prosecutors say they intend to seek the death penalty. Here at home, a 17-year-old Toronto student has been charged with attempted murder in connection to a stabbing in a North York high school Wednesday afternoon. The incident occurred at George S. Henry Academy by the front doors during the lunch break. Police say the victim, who is also 17, went to the office to ask for help while the suspect fled the scene. He later turned himself in. This is the second stabbing in a Toronto school this month. Montreal is the scene of tonight's French language debate for the leaders of 5 federal parties. Green Party leader Elizabeth May and Bloc Québécois leader Gilles Duceppe will be part of this debate. It'll be his first debate with the other leaders. The NDP swept Quebec in the last election, and according to CBC.ca, support may actually increase this time. Viewers can watch the debate live or stream it online at cbc.ca. The Canadian dollar hit a new low today, and Canadian consumers are feeling the squeeze. Alex Drobin has the story.
The Canadian dollar continues to drop, reaching an 11-year low of less than 75 cents US. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, a sudden sell-off in oil has resulted in growing stockpiles of gasoline worldwide. This news has students all over campus concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going to affect us, because usually we'd go down there, spend $500, what would regularly be $2,000 in Canada, just on clothes alone, right? So, yeah, I think it's definitely going to impact us as shoppers and, and what we tend to do every year.
I don't get my money out of my bank. I don't invest in stocks right now. I just watch everything, don't shop U.S. markets.
Students like Emma are affected in other ways.
Well, I'm really worried about my parents' investments. They're really dependent on that income because my dad's retired, and the difference in the dollar just makes it enough that they're in more worry every day and trying to figure out how they're gonna, pay for my education. So,
If the Canadian dollar continues to trend downward, there will only be more cause for concern. Alex Drobin, Humber News.
On-campus sexual assault has been on the rise. A new app has students feeling safer about walking home alone. Laura De Silva has the story.
The app is called Companion. It allows you to choose contacts in your smartphone to virtually track you on your solo trips home. Friends receive a GPS link that details where you're heading and notifications if you're feeling nervous or unsafe. An alarm mode can be activated to ward off predators and contact police directly.
The app can detect whether your pace has quickened, if your headphones have been ripped out, or if you've tripped or fallen. At that point, a message asks the user if they're okay, and they have 15 seconds to respond.
5 students from the University of Michigan developed the app to help worried students feel safer on their way home from campus. Concerns have been heightened after 2 recent sexual assault cases in the Humber area. Students say an app like this would be beneficial.
When I'm walking anywhere, especially at night, I always make sure somebody knows where I am. I'll call somebody like, hey, I gotta walk somewhere. You want to stay on the phone with me? Or this is where I'm going, just in case. So an app like that would be perfect because then I wouldn't have to physically call them. I could just be like, bam, here, I'm going somewhere, and someone at least knows.
No one wants to walk home alone at night, so we always make sure we have either a campus walk or security come, or we just make sure they have buddy systems, or sometimes I'll even drive them home at the end. I think it's a really comforting thought to know that there is apps like this that are started.
In addition to on-campus security measures, the Companion app can help students give peace of mind to friends and family. Laura De Silva, Humber News.
Now to Mexico, where a volcano greeted autumn with an explosion. Mexico's Colima volcano erupted just after sunrise this morning, spewing ash and smoke. The volcano is located in the southwestern Mexican state of Colima. Over the last 2 months, nearby villages have been blanketed with thick coats of ash, prompting evacuations. Russia has sent 3 new communication satellites into orbit. These satellites were launched from the Space Center in northwestern Russia. They're used for transmission of encrypted messages and images. A report by NASA says there was a 4th undisclosed craft sent up as well. No bunny ears are used, but the Earth has been caught on camera photobombing the sun twice. The NASA catches everything on tape. These images show the Earth passes the vision of the Solar Dynamic Observatory, also known as the SDO, and blocks the view of the moon and the sun together. Here's the Earth completely blocking out the sun. NASA says that although the SDO sees many Earth eclipses and lunar transits each year, this is the first time the two have coincided. Blue Jays playoff tickets have gone on sale for the general public. While Jays fans were recovering from last night's win, the countdown was on to book playoff seats. Thousands of fans found a computer at home or work for a chance to hit the jackpot. The Rogers Center holds around 50,000 fans, which is not enough to let everyone into the games. When we come back, we'll tell you all about last night's big game, and Katie Peterson will have your 3-day forecast.
Well, it's a gorgeous day out, 22 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. I've got some great news about our 3-day forecast coming up right after the break.
But first, 2 kayakers off the U.S. West Coast made some unexpected new friends on what has to be their most eventful open water excursion. Some nervous laughs there as the kayak is surrounded by a pod of killer whales. The great mammals wasted no time getting up close and personal with the 2 seafarers. The 2 brave kayakers remained composed as the orcas swam right up and underneath them. Had to be a whale of an experience.